Take up for coffee giant Starbucks, the iconic chain announcing the closure of 400 of its shops nationwide, including several here in the Bay Area. Many workers say they were blindsided by the announcement and the shuttering of these stores, sending a ripple effect through still fragile local economies.
If you're used to a Starbucks on every corner, that may soon change. The massive corporation is cutting back, laying off employees, and closing stores.
Starbucks, the coffee giant we all know, is suddenly pulling back, leaving hundreds of stores empty and communities stunned.
Residential area, and it seems like a lot of people stop and visit and meet up with their friends and have coffee.
From Toronto to California, familiar coffee spots have vanished almost overnight, catching customers and employees by surprise.
Well, Starbucks says it is closing underperforming stores across North America as part of a $1 billion restructuring plan. The company says hundreds of stores will be shut down by the end of the year, along with cutting roughly 900 corporate jobs.
While the company talks about restructuring and efficiency, there's more going on behind the closed doors. Rising costs, new strategies, and even rumors about automation and union tensions. This isn't just about coffee, it's about a shift in how a global brand is adapting to changing times. Could Starbucks' retreat mean a new kind of cafe experience? Are your favorite spots safe? And what does this say about the future of coffee culture everywhere? Something huge is happening with Starbucks, and most people didn't realize how fast it was moving until the doors started locking.
Just heard this today, and I'm super disappointed. I've been coming here for over 10 years. It's basically our daily routine.
In late 2024 and rolling into 2025, Starbucks quietly announced that it would be shutting down a chunk of its stores across North America. On paper, they called it a 1% adjustment. Sounds tiny, right? But for a company this big, that number hits way harder than it seems. Starbucks has thousands of locations across the US and Canada, so even a 1% cut means hundreds of stores suddenly disappearing.
Plenty of customers here at this location on its final day, but the very next day, Sunday, the drapes pulled down, the place deserted, and the doors locked.
Devastating coffee drinkers. Starbucks said it's closing 1% of its North American stores. That equates to roughly 400 locations, laying off around 900 non-retail employees.
And that's exactly what happened. Reports showed roughly 400 locations were being closed or reworked, along with hundreds of non-retail jobs being cut behind the scenes. The timing shocked people even more. Many of these shutdowns were happening almost overnight. Some workers said they found out just days before their store was gone. A few said they didn't even get a heads up from their managers.
Some of them found out because on the store hours online it said closed.
They only realized something was wrong when the store hours online changed to closed. Customers walked up expecting their usual drink, only to find paper signs taped to the windows and the lights already off. For some neighborhoods, their local Starbucks wasn't just a coffee shop, it was a meeting spot, a study hangout, a place they were used to seeing open every morning. Canada felt this wave early and hard. Dozens of stores across Ontario, Alberta, and British Columbia closed within the same short window, leaving people wondering why their cities seemed to be hit first. And as the closures kept popping up, it became clear this wasn't just a few slow stores shutting down. This was a major shift, planned, fast, and much bigger than anyone expected. The big question everyone had after the shutdowns was simple: why now? Starbucks didn't just wake up one morning and decide to close hundreds of stores for no reason. There were a few things building up behind the scenes, and when you line them up, the picture makes a lot more sense. First, Starbucks has been dealing with rising costs. Everything from milk to cups to labor has been more expensive than ever. The company said they were trying to streamline operations, which is a nice way of saying they needed to cut places that weren't making strong profits anymore. Some stores were running on thin margins, and the smallest shift in foot traffic made them too expensive to keep open. But it wasn't just about money. There were also some real concerns about safety. Over the past few years, employees in certain areas have spoken up about what they were dealing with. Late night incidents, damaged property, and situations that made workers feel unsafe. Starbucks said some locations were closing for security reasons, and while they didn't go into detail, workers online shared stories that made that claim sound real. Another big piece of the puzzle was the rise of mobile orders. More people were grabbing their drinks through the app instead of hanging out in stores. Starbucks saw this trend and started shifting money into smaller, pickup-focused locations instead of big cafes. So while some stores were closing, new ones were opening in different formats, making everything feel even more confusing. And behind all of that, rumors online started swirling about internal pressure, job cuts, and a plan that had been in the works long before the public ever heard about it. Whether those claims are fully true or not, the timing raised eyebrows. Once the closures started piling up, the internet did what it always does. It started connecting dots. And even though Starbucks only shared the official reasons, people online began spreading theories about what might really be happening behind the scenes. None of this is confirmed, but the rumors alone had millions of views. One of the biggest ideas floating around is that Starbucks has been planning a major reset for years. Some people think the company wants to replace older stores with newer, smaller locations that need fewer workers and cost less to run. Rumors suggest this could be their way of pushing more people into mobile ordering, where they can move customers faster without needing huge crews behind the counter. There's also been talk about the union fights. Over the past few years, more Starbucks workers have pushed to unionize, and that brought a lot of attention the company wasn't used to. Some online claims say the sudden closures look too well timed to be random, although Starbucks has strongly denied shutting stores for anything related to unions. Still, the conversation kept growing, and people kept asking questions. Another wave of speculation focused on Starbucks' long-term plan. Some reports claim the company has been testing new automated systems, machines that handle cold drinks, espresso shots, and even parts of the food prep. Fans think the store closures could be part of a move toward more automated cafes, where fewer workers are needed and everything runs faster. Again, nothing confirmed, but the buzz around it only grew after the layoffs hit headquarters. And then there's the financial angle. Analysts have pointed out that Starbucks' sales weren't as strong as expected in certain areas last year. And some viewers believe the company is trying to quietly clean house before it reveals a bigger shift in strategy. Whether any of these theories are true or not, one thing is clear. People think this wave of shutdowns is just the start of something much bigger. As the closures kept stacking up, people started feeling the impact in real time. For workers, the news hit the hardest. Some employees said they were moved to other stores, but others weren't as lucky. A few shared online that they got almost no warning before their location shut down, leaving them scrambling to figure out their next steps. Even when Starbucks tried to place workers elsewhere, it wasn't always possible, especially in cities where multiple stores closed at the same time. Customers felt it too. For years, Starbucks wasn't just a place to grab coffee, it was a routine, something people rely on every morning before school or work. So when their local store vanished, it threw off their whole day. Some neighborhoods suddenly had no Starbucks for miles, while others had to deal with massive lines at the remaining locations because all that traffic had nowhere else to go. People complained online about waiting 20-30 minutes for drinks that normally took 5. But here's where it gets interesting. While customers were confused and frustrated, Starbucks was already testing new ideas. In some cities, they opened pickup-only spots that looked more like tiny walk-up counters than real cafes. They also pushed more money into their drive-thru locations, since those have been bringing in the biggest profits. It felt like the company was slowly shifting away from the hang out and study for hours vibe and moving towards something faster and more controlled. Still, the mixed messages didn't help. On one hand, stores were closing and jobs were being cut. On the other, Starbucks kept announcing new drink machines, upgraded tech, and plans to expand into different formats. To a lot of people, it didn't add up, and it created even more more questions about what the company is really building toward. Now that everything is unfolded, one thing is clear: this isn't just a random string of store shutdowns. Starbucks is changing, and it's happening faster than anyone expected. The closures, the job cuts, the new store formats, all of it points to a company trying to rebuild itself from the inside out. But the strange part is how quietly it all happened. No big warnings, no long explanations, just doors locking, signs going up, and workers trying to make sense of it. Some people think Starbucks is bracing for a new era where most customers never step inside a cafe. With mobile orders growing every year, the company might be betting on a future where speed matters more than seating. Others believe Starbucks is trying to fix deeper problems: slow sales in certain areas, rising costs everywhere, and pressure to modernize before the market forces their hand. At the same time, rumors online haven't slowed down. Some fans think these moves are setting up a larger shakeup later this year, especially with Starbucks testing new machines and more automated systems. And while none of that is confirmed, the timing of everything has made people pay closer attention than ever. But here's the real takeaway: whatever Starbucks is planning, this is only the first wave. The closures we've seen so far might be small compared to what's coming next. The company keeps saying they're rebalancing, but nobody knows what the final version of Starbucks will actually look like. Will it be faster, smaller, more automated, or will it change in ways people haven't even predicted yet? One thing is certain: this story isn't over, and the next move Starbucks makes could completely reshape how millions of people get their daily coffee. In the end, the Starbucks shakeup turned out to be much bigger than a few stores closing. It showed how fast a huge company can change when pressure starts building from every direction. Rising costs, shifting customers, safety issues, and rumors that only made the whole situation feel even stranger. And while Starbucks says this is just a reset, the way everything happened has left people wondering what the company's real plan looks like. Maybe it's a faster future built around mobile orders, or maybe it's something even bigger that hasn't been revealed yet. What we do know is this: the Starbucks we're used to is already changing, and the next phase could be the most surprising part of all.